neither the Labor Party nor the Liberal Party work for the country. They don't serve the national interest. They don't serve the people of Australia. And that's something I've worked out. They work for their own agenda. They work for the globalists. You'd know about that.
Senator Malcolm Roberts, how are you, sir?
I'm well, thanks, Ben. How are you?
Living the dream, mate. Living the dream, but definitely not as busy as you.
We've had a pretty hectic 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's been mental. Down south, like that seems to be going off really well as well for you. So,
South Australia?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
This is what's happened over the last 30 years. You know, full credit to Pauline, full credit to James Ashby. He's really stitching things together.
Yeah.
And also full credit to Richard in my office, who's put the policies together. And and of course Pauline and James and everyone then had a chop at refining them. So the policies are just amazing.
What is it? I mean, obviously, like we had Pauline on for over a year ago now, and it's like the momentum that has been gained in the last 12 months has been next to nothing that I think she's done ever. Like she has got some, like you guys in general have got some numbers behind you now that is, I mean, it's got to be scaring the bigwigs.
It is.
Yeah.
You can't tell from the media. They're attacking us, calling us this, calling us that.
Well, she's copped that for years though, so that's a little bit probably, more of the same, but it's definitely ramped up.
Well, it certainly has, and we knew that had happened when the polls took off. But we've been telling people that'll come. And so, people are realising the more you bash Pauline, the better Pauline goes.
Yeah.
And they're starting to wake up. The Labor Party even said that the other day. So it's a combination of things, the policies that we put out for the last election. Honestly, Ben, I've never seen any party with policies like ours. Of course, the mainstream media and the other parties just say that we haven't got any policies. But how come you're copying ours?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The second thing is we've been using the term uni party for a while, and people have worked it out.
Yeah.
That it really is a uni party. Labor and Liberal. Policy is almost identical.
Yeah.
Few differences on the surface. Scratch beneath it, they've all got the same similar policies.
Yeah.
So people are saying, well, that's driving the country to hell. It is. It's managed decline. And so people are saying, hang on, the Labor Party is not the alternative to the Liberal Party.
No.
They're both the same.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
And so they're working that out. And the other thing is that they've said, well, hang on, Pauline, she's not a racist.
Mm-hmm.
And what she's been saying for 30 years, it's always been true.
Yeah.
So maybe we've been listening to bullshit. And now they've woken up. And, it's interesting, in the 10 years I've been in the party, when I first got in, it was like, you're a racist, you're a Nazi, all the names. And I love being called names because it means I haven't got an argument.
Yes.
But you could always tell where you were. If you're at a pre-poll in downtown, say on Ann Street, Brisbane at City Hall, people would come out of the pre-poll after voting and they'd catch your eye and they'd go. And at Strathpine, this is 10 years ago, they'd walk up to the pre-poll and they'd say, I want one of yours, how to vote cards. Yeah. And up north or out west, they'd say, I want the One Nation one.
Yeah.
They're very proud. Now everywhere, people are not ashamed to be One Nation. And that's what the bastards in the Uni Party did.
Yeah.
They denigrated her and made it sort of evil to vote for Pauline. So no one admitted they voted for Pauline, so it always seemed small. Yeah. But now people are just saying everywhere, we want One Nation.
Well, I mean, that's very much just a growth in the sharing of information with social media now, because they can't control the narrative like they used to. They can put out an edited version, like the old 30-second sound bites that they used to do for her. But now, if they did that, Pauline would just, one of your guys' group would just post the actual statement or the actual video, not the chopped up one that doesn't make her look silly, and then people go, oh, okay, so they really are just talking shit.
That's right. And Murray Watt, frankly, I think he's dishonest. I'll leave it at that. But he took I asked him questions in Senate estimates. Yeah. 2 separate sets of questions. Yeah. He took a bit out of one set, took a bit out of another set, my answers, and spliced them together.
Yeah.
And so what do we do? We put the whole lot there.
Put the real one up.
And he then took it down.
Oh, there you go.
So they know that don't fool with us because we're not going to be meek. We're going to be truthful, but we're not going to be meek.
And that's the benefit, I think, of the social media side of it, is everybody owns their own platform now.
Yep.
So as much as you go, okay, so there's still the powers that be might own 7, 9 and 10 and whatever else, or radio stations or whatever, but But if there is ever anything put out there, you can very quickly, with your own substantial following, go, no, this is what we said. Here it is. And it just makes them look stupid.
And then they stop doing it because they don't like looking stupid and they don't like looking dishonest.
Well, I think, I don't know if they stop doing it. Maybe they stop doing it that way. They just start to get a little more sneaky.
But what they do is in Parliament, so they put together, what's the best way? They put together a hybrid. They'll have some really good stuff in the bill that they can sell.
Yeah.
And then they'll have some really shit stuff.
Yes.
That they want to slide right through. And fortunately, I'm with Pauline, and she's similar to me. We just call out the shit stuff.
Yeah.
And say, if you didn't have that in there, we would have voted for it. But you don't, so we're not going to vote for it. That's it.
Yeah. Why do they do that, though? Like, is that just a blatantly underhanded sort of approach? Yeah,
yep.
Okay.
That's it. People have to realise that neither the Labor Party nor the Liberal Party work for the country. They don't serve the national interest. They don't serve the people of Australia. And, you know, that shocked me when I got into Parliament. I knew it was the case because I'd already been an activist exposing the climate fraud. So I knew that was going on, but I thought it was just weakness. And the majority of members of Parliament, I think it is weakness, and I think that they don't want to look because they know what they'll find if they look, and then they have to get into a fight. So most of the Liberals and Labor Party just go along for the ride.
Well, especially when you've got people that are career politicians and that haven't done any real world stuff. You know, like you go and get someone like, I've said it on here a few times, like, you know, someone like our version of Trump sort of thing from a business point of view would be someone like your Mark Boris, who's gone out and built billions of dollars worth of stuff and could literally walk in there and go, I don't want to take the check. I don't need the money. I'm doing this because Australia needs it. Like Pauline has come through and gone almost like what Trump's done as well, just called out on the shit. Gone, you know, this is what it is. I'm not here to I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. This needs to be dealt with. But the way it's been spun over the years has been so just detrimental to the public perception, I think, or at least
all deliberate.
Yeah.
Because they want to stop people. See, it's a club, Labor and Liberal Uni-Party. So we coined the term Uni-Party to show people that they're really the same thing. And now people are starting to say, shit, he's right. Yeah. It is the same thing. The policies are almost identical. So that now they're starting to look at the alternative. And the way that came up, I was scratching for a name because I wanted to show that Liberal and Labor are so close. Yeah. So I called them the duopoly. But then I thought, hang on, that makes us the third option. Third option doesn't sound good. So I said, you've got the uni party, which is the one option, and you want the real option, where the other choice. What
is it? Do you think that? Because you look at from an outsider point of view, and I've said this many times. I think I was blissfully unaware of a lot of the shit until this show and some of the conversations, and then especially Pauline coming on, and then me sort of getting my ears pricked a little bit, going, okay, like maybe I need to look into a bit more of this, because I had a bubble of family and work, and
me too.
That was it, you know. Yeah. So it's like, okay, now I've been exposed to this. Now we start looking into things, but I can't get my head around how we're in such crisis financially, and yet we're giving more money away than we could probably
including
count.
To the Taliban.
That too, and which is just absolutely retarded. But
and then we prosecute someone like Ben Roberts-Smith.
I know
that is an absolute travesty. And the way they did it, went on board a plane to demoralise him and to embarrass him, that in front of his 15-year-old daughters.
Which, look, this is the problem, right? Our armed forces are technically part of the government, right?
Yep.
Right. So if they can put a charge on someone like Ben,
bravest, what is it? The most decorated soldier.
Yeah. Like Albo must be shitting in his pants, because if you can charge someone in the government, why can't they be held accountable for all the shit they've done wrong?
Well, the government doesn't work for the people.
No.
Under Liberal and Labor, they don't work for the people, and that's something I've worked out. They work for their own agenda. They work for the globalists. You'd know about that.
Oh, yeah.
And if you had said to me in 2007 what I just said, I would have said, you need your head read.
Yeah.
But from 2007, I did research on the climate scheme because My qualifications include knowledge about atmospheric gases and a proper scientific approach. As an engineer, most of my work was in management and leadership.
Yeah.
But I started off as an engineer.
Yeah, you still had all the fundamental sort of knowledge.
That's right. And engineers don't discover the science. Well, sometimes they do, but the majority of times they get the scientists to do the science and then they implement it. So we understand the scientific process.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's no way in the world carbon dioxide can do what it's claimed to be doing.
Yeah.
But I said, who's little old me to challenge thousands of politicians and tens of thousands of scientists?
Yeah. But that's probably what they hope for.
That's correct, and that's what the majority of people, because they don't have scientific training, they fall for it because they think, well, the scientists say that. So someone called me and said, would you like to help me debunk this bullshit? So I said, love to.
Yes.
So, but I said, before I can do that, I have to satisfy myself that it is bullshit.
Yeah.
So I investigated the science, and it is complete fraud.
Yeah, I think I saw your video talking about the year post-GFC and the years of COVID and the rise of CO2 still went up.
Yeah, it didn't change.
Yeah.
And then when I asked the CSIRO and Senate estimates, I said, oh, there's an inflection there, Senator Roberts. And I said, I want you to describe it statistically.
Yeah.
And they couldn't.
Yes.
Because there's no inflection, it's straight up.
Yeah.
And then so they said there's an immediate reaction, immediate response, but there isn't. Yeah. And then I asked the Bureau of Meteorology the same question. I said, oh, Senator Roberts, it's going to take years for that to come through. So here's the CSIRO saying it's immediate and it's there. The BOM saying it's not there and it's not immediate.
Yeah.
But so I investigated science, and then because I realized how corrupt it was, I went, who's driving it? So then I worked out the UN IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Yeah.
And then I worked out who's hanging off them. And then I thought, okay, the next step is what are the motives?
Well, the motives always come back to money.
Money.
Yeah.
Well, two things, money and control.
Yeah, money and power. That's, I think that's been a thing since the Dark Ages, right?
Ego.
Yeah.
And always beneath control is something I learned about 20 years ago. Always beneath control, Ben, there is fear.
Yeah.
If someone's trying to control you, they're afraid of you.
Yeah.
And that's what the UN, they're involved in one of the biggest scams ever.
But they do that through fear as well. They gain that control through fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all orchestrated. And the man who started it all, notice I said the man, took me a while to work out who it was, Maurice Strong.
Okay.
He was an independent, get this background, oil baron from Canada.
Right.
Had his own oil company.
Yeah.
And at the age of 25, he got involved. I'll show you I'll give you an example of what his brain's like, what his attitude's like. At the age of around 17, I worked out, he went to the United Nations, which was in its first year. I think it was about 47. The United Nations was legislated or formed in 44, but it didn't really kick off until 45, 46, 47.
Yeah.
And it's a bullshit organization. It's complete crap. So so this guy went as an intern. I don't know how long he was there, but he had an intern.
Yeah.
And he came back and this came from the Canadian Broadcasting System's documentary. And his friend said to him, what's it like at the UN? He said, oh, mate, that place is going to have some power one day.
Yeah.
What kind of mind thinks like that at 17? Then he became a multi-millionaire, maybe a billionaire through his oil company. And at the age of 25, he went into politics. But he didn't go into the front of politics. He went into the back.
Right.
And he met up with the Canadian family that controls both sides of politics or used to control it. So he worked out where the power is. And then he went to the United Nations. And he was wealthy, so he commissioned a report on the state of the planet or state of the earth or something like that. And it was, we had a lot of pollution and genuine problems, environmental problems in the 70s.
Yeah.
But they were being tidied up.
Yeah.
Because you don't like going on holidays and find oil on the beach.
No.
Or you don't like being at Love Canal in New York when it catches on fire.
No.
Your bloody creek catches on fire. So there's a big momentum for cleaning up the environment. So he hung everything off that. And then he made a proposal in his report for the United Nations Environmental Program he formed. A huge bureaucracy. Talk more about that in a minute. And then that was in 72, about June. And then in December, guess who was appointed head?
I'm guessing
Maurice Strong.
Yeah, right, okay.
No real credentials on the environment, but he understood that the senior person at the UN is the Secretary General.
Yeah.
And they're usually hacks or political hacks or bureaucrats or diplomats who just want a retirement. So they can be manipulated.
Yeah.
And then the others who report to him all similar. So he was the only one who understood the environment. And he just bullshit whatever he wanted to. And he basically took charge of the UN. And then developed all kinds of programs like Agenda 21, which was about, these are their words, unelected socialist global governance to put in place a new world economic order. Even Christiana Figueres, who was in charge of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which oversaw the climate science in the IPCC, even she said, this is not about the environment, this is not about climate, it's about a new world economic order. So that's what they're after the whole time. But they wrapped it up in environment because if you dare question them, they'll say, what, you're not concerned about the environment?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
And they smash you. And that's why a small group of scientists came together. They're bloody crooks. They came together. They manipulated every report from the United Nations. The first report from the United Nations, the scientists said there's no connection between the climate variability and carbon dioxide from human activity. None at all.
Yeah.
That was changed to say there is.
Yeah. But I think we saw something last year at some point, didn't they? Like NASA released something about there was certain forests or whatever are greener than they've been like for forever or something. So it's like the Earth, as the carbon dioxide goes up, even naturally, the Earth just responds to it.
Yep.
It gives the planet more food.
Well, that's absolutely correct. Carbon dioxide is nature's essential trace atmospheric gas.
Yeah.
Trace gas, because there's bugger all of it. It's 0.04%.
Yeah.
What they'll say is it's 400 parts per million. Everyone goes, shit, that sounds like a lot.
Yes.
But it's 0.04%.
Yeah.
It's 4/100ths of 1%. It's bugger all.
And we're only responsible for that amount percentage of that small percentage as well, isn't it?
Well, that's what I originally worked out,
Yeah.
but it's not really true because we're not responsible for any part of it. Because what happens is the United Nations itself has admitted that there are 50 to 70 times as much carbon dioxide dissolved in the oceans as in the entire atmosphere.
Yeah.
So there's bugger all in the atmosphere compared to the oceans.
Right.
Slight changes in the temperature of the ocean, if the ocean warms or the surface level warms, then it liberates carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of salt. If you cool the oceans, which all because of that great big ball of orange ball in the sky, you know, if you cool it, it absorbs carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So we produce bugger all compared to what nature produces way more. Nature produces every year, according to the IPCC, about 32 times what we produce as humans. Right. So if humans produce a little bit more, all that happens is the oceans just keep a little bit more in because that level depends upon Henry's chemistry law. This is getting technical. But what I'm saying is that we can't affect it at all.
But even if we could, wouldn't nature just absorb it more and it would just get greener and healthier?
Exactly. Yeah. But you wouldn't want to limit carbon dioxide because we are close at 0.04%. We are closer to the extinction zone than we are to the, what is it? There's no warming zone. Carbon dioxide cannot warm the planet. It's almost an inert gas.
Right.
It's highly unreactive.
Yeah.
So everything about it is based on bullshit.
So when it comes to stuff like this, because there's so many things that you go, like there's some dot point facts where as a lay person looking at it all from the outside goes, why the fuck are we still doing it then? Like,
well, most lay people don't do that.
Well, but when you get someone on the outside looking in that hears that bit of information, like I sit there and I go, like, what was the numbers? How many hundreds of thousands of people are illegals in the country at the moment? It's like 100,000 or something?
Depends how you want to look at it. Adults, non-students, about 100,000.
Yeah.
And students, at least 100,000 shouldn't be here.
So, like, the climate issue and all of the rubbish that they're doing around that, and something as simple as an illegal that you go, well, by definition of the name, they shouldn't be here. You go, why are we still dealing with this? Why, round them up, go. I don't care whether you like if you're a minor and you don't have a legal guardian here, that's probably a separate thing to consider because you can't just ship them off. But anybody that's an adult or above, 18 or 17, 18, whatever it is now or above, like round them up. Just like if they're spending money on such rubbish anyway, like what was it, fucking machete bins? Like, they're spending money on such shit anyway. Spend the money, round them up, fuck them off.
Yep.
Like, I don't understand the simplicity of it not being actioned.
Well, what's happened is that, again, comes back to the UN. Our immigration program is driven by UN. And so what happens is if you dare call out the policy from Labor and Liberal, they're both the same, call them out on the immigration policies, they'll call you a racist, they'll call you an Islamophobe, they'll call you whatever. Now, does that bother me? No. It means I'm over the target. Does it bother Pauline? No. It means she's over the target.
Yeah.
But it bothers the Liberals and Labor because many Liberals and Labor quietly agree with us. I have been in the Senate. When I got into the Senate, my first speech, you're supposed to be polite in your first speech. So I thought, okay, I'll be polite.
Right.
And I talked about the climate scam, and I said, people pushing this are anti-human. And as I did so, I looked across at the Greens.
Yeah.
Just to send a signal.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was open season. I called them out as being anti-human, anti-environment, all the rest of it, which is all fact. It's all true. And people from the Labor Party and Liberal Party would walk up to me and say, pat me on the back and say, good on you.
Yeah.
So why aren't you doing it?
But they won't do it publicly.
No.
They only do it behind closed doors.
Well, some of the Nationals started doing it, only a few of them. And the Liberals plucked up a little bit of courage, but the majority gets squashed.
Yeah. So we're so stuck because there's right the way down to different states have different laws and different legislation, which blows my fucking mind as well. Like
it doesn't blow my mind. I'm thankful for that. I'll explain later. Yeah, very much.
Okay. Well, we can come back to that because, like, from a normal person point of view, like even my truck downstairs, that's engineered for Queensland. But if I took that down to New South Wales, it wouldn't pass. And it's like that's something as simple as that blows my mind. But when it comes,
I'm very pleased with that. But we would come back to that.
Yeah,
it's a really important point.
Okay. But we're so. It's like by the time the information filters down to someone like me who is gained more interest and more reputable information than maybe someone who just watches the news. So I see all that too, but I also look into other stuff. But I'm not as educated on it as someone like you who is right in the heart of it all. But I sit back and go like, what is it that has to change for us to get everything back on track? Because there's so many things that are wrong. And then you get someone like bloody Stefanovic. I mean, I know you did his episode, didn't you?
No.
Oh, you haven't done that yet. Okay. I think Pauline did it.
Yeah, she's done it. She did the first of his episodes.
Yeah. And it's like, you sit back and you watch him go, you know, and whatever. I still think he's bought and paid for, but you watch him with Albo and he go, and fair enough, I'll give him credit because he did it live, but you ask a question and then it's a really straightforward question and you don't get an answer and you go, I don't think you answered that, and just move on. You go, well, hang on, mate, you didn't answer that. Like, can we have an actual answer?
So Carl just moved on.
Yeah, he just moved on. Like, he goes,
that's not journalism.
No, and it's not. But in an environment where there was a one that got a lot of views where Albo was down, I want to say it was at the Gold Coast, but I don't think it was, but it looked like a beach kind of area behind him. And he's setting up for some interview questions and someone off to the sides asked a question and he's just like, oh, no, we don't answer that. We're answering this. Like, and the guy had a legitimate question, but he won't engage in it because it's like as soon as there's a little bit of logic comes into questioning him on stuff, he folds.
Right.
And nobody has the balls to go, hang on a minute, mate. No. I asked you this. Can you give me an answer on that? And they won't do it. He likes, you know, like Stefanovic, bought and paid for. What's that blonde knob that he did her? The bird that's Abby Chatfield. He did something with her. And it's like the whole thing is just, you got to submit questions. You got to do. I'm like, no. You want to have a chat? Let's have a chat. But
what are they examples of? They're all examples of control. Always beneath control there is
absolutely
fear.
Yeah, you won't do it. But it's like there's got to be a simple way to go. How do we fix it? We clearly have a dot point list of all the things that are wrong in this country. What is it? Is it the right person in the seat, or is that seat still subject to control from the party around it and the Senate seats and all the other ways that they do it? Like, why can't we just have someone that come in and go, this is all the shit that's wrong, let's fix it? Like the Port of Darwin.
That's what people assume is going on, but it's not.
No, but that's the hard part.
Every major problem in this country came from Parliament House, Canberra.
Yes.
Or the bureaucracy. Every major problem. And those that weren't created there were started in the states and worsened in the parliament.
Yeah.
The federal government is destroying this country.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about Albanese. I'm talking about the Liberal Labor club.
Yeah.
It is a
the
club.
the government itself is cooked.
Yeah, and it has been for decades. So where do you start? You've raised a number of things.
No, it's all right. I get on it. I get on a roll.
Oh, yeah, your passion is just fantastic, and your knowledge is just amazing. Competitive federalism, why I like the states to be different.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So I've travelled right through all 50 states of America. I've worked and lived there for 5 years. I've studied there. I got a degree, and I'm not one for thinking degrees mean much.
Yeah.
But I got tired of the accountants telling me how to run a mine and screwing it up.
Yeah.
So I said, if I can't beat them, I'll join them. So I did.
I think passion in something beats an education on it every day.
And where's the best place to get an education these days?
Well, real world, I reckon.
Well, that's true. Where's the best place to get formal education?
I would online.
That's what I was going to say, YouTube.
Yeah.
My son taught me that. If you can't learn from everyone, then you're dope. But so I know a fair bit about the States, and I'm married to a Yank, and I love the Yankee people.
Yeah.
I don't love their government. I like Trump. Thank goodness Trump has come along.
I think right or wrong in some respects. I think he's a laugh. I love watching him. I love how he shoots from the hip.
I don't think he does shoot from the hip.
Well, I love how he presents it like he's shooting from the hip.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And well, he's destroyed the media.
Yes.
Because they tried to eat him, and they have been trying to eat him for probably a decade or so. Disparage him, but he turned it. They're starting to feed on themselves. Anyway, so I learned about the founding fathers of the United States, and most countries have one or two or three highly talented, capable, intelligent, practical people when they start their country.
Right.
The Yanks had about 20 or 30 of the bastards.
Yeah.
Just blessed with talent.
Yeah.
And Jefferson and Washington and so on. And they looked at Europe and they said, we don't want that.
Yes.
And what was in Europe? Massive central government, no states, massive central government. They might have had provinces, but they weren't powerful.
No.
And they had privately owned central banks, which loved to create war, because when they got into war, they would lend to both sides. And politicians, when they're in war, will do anything to not be defeated. So then they created welfare, and then they funded that as well. So the banks loved that mechanism. Yeah. So these people in forming the United States said, we don't want those things. So they formed a federation. I think it was probably the first of its kind in the world. And they kept the state's sovereignty. Each state is a sovereign entity. Yeah. For example, some states are known as states, some states are known as commonwealths.
Yes.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, Commonwealth of Connecticut, Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yeah, they don't have territories over there. That's a thing for us, isn't it?
Yeah, they have territories, but they're more areas they protect and develop, right?
Okay.
So what they had was limited power for the federal government, looking after defence, foreign affairs, partly trade, borders, maybe communications, that kind of thing, the post office.
Yeah.
So the rest of it was done at the states. And that was done beautifully because it was called competitive federalism. So if Pennsylvania came up with something better in the way of raising taxes and making better use of them, they'd be lower taxes. And people from the other states would go to Pennsylvania. Yeah. And that would blossom. And then the other states would have to say, oh, shit, we better fix our act. So what that gave was real accountability. Whereas if everything is in the federal level, there's no alternative. And so all you've got to do is get Labor and Liberal or Democrats and Republicans to work together, and you've got no accountability.
So so if that's such a good thing for the state, why is there the need for the federal? Why can't they all come together and say over there you might have 50 heads of state, and they come together and there's a resolution by the majority choice versus one sitting in a seat? You've
got it.
Right, okay.
There's that is the best way to do it. Leave the power at the states. If they need to do something on a national basis, same with the UN. Leave the power at the countries. Yeah. And if they need to do something, don't form the United Nations. Just have Ecuador might say, everyone come and have a get together at our place, and we'll discuss communications protocols.
Yeah, okay.
We'll discuss environmental protocols.
So is that the benefit of having that one person in a chair? Because you don't, for an example, with America, you don't have to send 50 people. You can just send one.
That is correct.
Yeah. But so it's management more than anything.
That is correct. But that one person should represent the 50.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And that's what they're not doing.
But well, I think he represents the 50 over there pretty well. But
Trump.
Yeah,
he does.
But Albo sure as shit doesn't hear.
No. Well, Albo got. The Labor Party got about 34-point-something% of the vote last time, and they claim they got a mandate. That's just barely 1/3, mate.
Yeah.
That's not a mandate. Yeah. 2/3 voted against you.
Yes.
How the hell can you claim a mandate?
Yeah.
They just happen to get the majority of seats. But so
that's shifting though, I think, because the generations are starting to open their eyes a bit more. Like if you've got an 80-year-old now, COVID was a big one. But if you've got an 80-year-old now that's, they've grown up in the 40s, that's a different world. Like it was a different world in the 50s and 60s, let alone the last, 30 years with these young guys coming through. Like I'm mid-40s, what do you keep? You're only bloody 17, like.
Ain't 17?
Yeah. Like he's been exposed to more in the last 3 or 4 years of his understanding of Parliament than a lot of Australians, from 40 years ago. So
that competitive federalism is essential. So if Queensland comes up with a better way of regulating cars, and I'm not one for regulating.
No.
But you do need regulations in a few things.
Yeah.
But if Queensland comes up with a better way, now that we've got the bloody regulations, a better way of regulating cars, then people from New South Wales are going to move to Queensland if they're petrol heads.
Yeah.
Or if it's cars not important to them, they might say Queensland's got better education, so we'll move there. So what's happened over the years is that the federal government, same in America, not as much, but the same in America, but in Australia it's really bad. The federal government's taken more and more power off the states. So John Howard introduced the national curriculum. Yep. So you got all your woke and bullshit.
Yeah.
And so there's no real alternative now. So what that means is accountability is going down the gurgler.
I think you can get some benefit out of a national program when the program's good. But they're still doing in school now what they were doing when I was at school, and it didn't work for me back then, let alone the kids now.
But what happens is, we know about the UN's aim is to put in place an unelected socialist global governance and create wealth transfer to the corporations. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Yeah. So what happens is that where does the national curriculum come from? The UN.
Right.
The World Economic Forum. They put this. So do you get taught anything about election processes, anything about constitution, anything about history? No. So people are ignorant of what's happened. So they'll fall for anything. Yeah. And that's been deliberate. So that's what they're doing. So what they're trying to do is show that, put in place many of the features of a global approach. So that where did the transgender come from? United Nations. Where did the family law come from? United Nations. And the family law is destroying families. It's been in place 50 years since Whitlam put it in place. Yeah. And it came from the UN. Its mission is to kill families. And when you kill families, where do people go when they're in strife?
I don't even know.
Government.
Oh, right, okay.
So you got government control.
Yep.
So look at COVID. That was all about government control.
Yeah.
And people knew that they were being bullshitted to, but they said, oh, please tell me, Prime Minister, what do we do?
Yeah.
So that's where we stood up. But so that's competitive.
That's another accountability thing that needs to be dealt with.
Well, that's we can talk about that in a minute. Talk about that competitive federalism is essential. So I'm very much for giving the states the power. And if you as a Queenslander and I as a Queenslander say, bugger these regulations, I want to build a Toyota the way I want to build it.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Yeah. Then you say, well, in New South Wales they can do that. They can't, but I mean that's the alternative. Yeah, hypothetically. But now they have national standards, and there are some national standards that are decent, but that should have been done by the states coming together, not by a federal government.
Absolutely,
that's the fundamental. So you said it is a management approach. That is correct. So the other thing is that, how come we've lost it? How come the politicians run the show? In our country, we're not a monarchy. We're a constitutional monarchy.
Yeah.
Which means that the monarch serves the constitution. The monarch has very few powers, and they're called reserve powers. It can only intervene according to the constitution.
Yeah.
So the constitution is the governing instrument.
Yeah.
And who's paramount in that? you and me and the people.
Yeah.
But what's happened is, under Labor and Liberal, they have put the government as the dominating force. They've destroyed the state, some of the state powers, and there's one really important one which I'll get back to. But now the people think they serve the government.
Yeah.
And a few rednecks come up with it that it's really the other way around, and you and I are labelled as rednecks.
Yeah.
But that puts a medal on your chest.
I love it. I love when we had Pauline on. I had people going up pair of races at a table, and I love it. It's like you start getting derogatory. All you're doing is showing your hand.
Well,
I don't mind.
Yeah, labels, smears, lies, the refuge of the incompetent, the dishonest, the lazy, the fearful.
Yeah.
And basically, if we have a discussion about something, and you start calling me names, I say, "Well, you lost it. I've just won the argument."
Yeah, that's right.
But people can't see that.
No.
So what it means is that we're supposedly in a democracy.
Mm.
We're still kind of there, but when you look at the freedoms we've lost, we're not really. But we're still partly a democracy. So the key to a democracy is active participation by the people.
Yeah.
So that doesn't just mean you vote. What it means is that we vote after we do our research and homework on who's the best candidate, who's got the best values, who's got the best policies.
Yeah.
We do our research and we go in and make an informed vote. And then the second thing is that we help out on the election process, how to vote cards.
Yeah.
So I compliment the Labor Party people who hand out how to vote cards. I disagree with them, but I say at least you're involved.
Yeah.
But the real key to active participation in democracy is holding the MPs accountable, calling up your MP, visiting his office, saying, I want to talk with him. Yeah. I want to know if he knows this is the way I feel about an issue. He's there to represent me. Yeah. He's there to work for me. And that means I'm his boss.
Yeah.
So he should be reporting to me. Now, what happens now is we get the bullshit report from the media. We get the bullshit report from the party newsletter.
Yeah.
So they're not really reporting to us. But when you lose active participation, you get passive democracy. When you get passive democracy, you eventually say, what the hell? How can I have any effect? And give up and just put your head down, pay the taxes and all the rest of it. Yeah. So then what happens is that becomes apathy.
Yes.
And there's a lot of apathy in this country.
Yeah.
And then it becomes control. Then it becomes tyranny.
Mm. Yeah, and I think we're floating between control and tyranny now. Like it's
no doubt about it. Look at COVID.
Yeah.
Look at the things we can and can't do, what we can and can't say. The best way to protect people's reputations is to let it rip. Don't have freedom. You must have freedom of speech. Don't have controls on speech, because if you call me something, then I can respond to you.
Yeah.
Rather than lock you up and say you shouldn't be talking that way. So what's happened is that we have lost the active participation of the people in the country. And so now we've got a few turkeys running the show. Yeah. And where do they get their policies from? The UN. Why? Albo's worked supposedly for 12 months in a job outside politics. The rest of the time he's been an arse licker for the ALP. Yeah. So he's got up there by smoozing people. Yeah. And he is incredibly smooth to talk to one-on-one, incredibly. Yeah. But he's a bullshit artist. Yeah. And he's weak and he's gutless. So what happens under those circumstances? Bondi, the responsibility for Bondi is with Albanese.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
So then you get...
Then he was fucking cuddling up in a fucking mosque, getting bloody photo shoots.
And what happened?
Well, there was quite a bit of backlash for it, I think.
And what does that tell you?
Well, the people that started to open their eyes a bit more.
Well, what it told me about, well, first of all, let's go back to the...
What does it tell me about the response, or what does it tell me about him?
Him.
That he's bought and paid for.
Correct. If you keep appeasing someone, this has happened throughout history, if you keep appeasing someone, they'll eventually take advantage of you. Yeah. They know you're just a lapdog, you're a doormat. And what that mosque showed me was that they think Albanese just sucks up to us. Yeah. But now he's doing something we don't like, so we'll just plaster him. Yeah. And that's what they did. They said, Buggy, you're gutless. That's essentially what they're doing. A week after Bondi, we had Albanese at the memorial service at Bondi.
Yeah, I saw some footage of that. He was not well received there.
Well, he was booed, and that booing went right across the country, resonated with everyone. He's a gutless prick.
Absolutely.
He's dishonest.
Yeah.
He's also cunning and devious and dishonest, because what he's done is he's taken half our staff and just trashed them, just remove them. If you're a strong Prime Minister, you know you'll be stronger when you've got good opposition.
Yes.
He didn't take them off the other crossbenchers who vote with him. He took them off One Nation and Babette, who vote against him.
Yeah.
But what you should be doing is strengthening your opposition, because then that makes us stronger. Just like Toyota didn't get to be number one because they had weak opponents in the Japanese market. They got there because they got strong opponents and competitors in the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what it showed me, that mosque incident showed me that this prick has been gutless. That's what the Muslims thought.
Yep.
And they're just toweling him up.
Yeah, absolutely. But the public did too, because the way he handled it, the way, I think it was the first handful of adjustments that he was trying to make with like the gun laws and all the other shit, it was just like, that's not the problem, mate. The lay person can see that's not the problem. Like this is what I mean. Like when you, and I said this to Pauline as well. Like there must be parts of your job when you're sitting there like listening to people waffle on, where you just must want to go, would you shut the fuck up? Like you're talking shit. This is not the issue. The issue is extreme people. It's not Muslims. There are comments that are out there where someone will go, not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. Like there are some things like that have been thrown around since fucking 9/11, right? There's a lot of different stuff out there that people, they grab onto and they run with and shit like that. But you look at the problem with that issue in Bondi had nothing to do with a weapon.
Correct. And so we have a joker kills 6 people in a street attack with a car. Let's ban your car. You can't drive anymore, mate.
Exactly.
It's not the person who's behind the wheel. Sorry, it's not the wheel. It's not the car. It's the person behind the wheel. Yeah. It's not the gun. It's the person who pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And when you take guns off good citizens, who's left with them?
The government.
Well, the government, but also the criminals.
Yeah, yeah.
They're making it easier for the... Yeah. The United States, to do a statistical analysis, you've got to have a reasonable number of sample points.
Yes.
We've got 6 states, pretty much similar gun laws in all the states. Yeah. Slight differences, not much, nothing significant. In the states, they've got 50 different states.
Yeah.
And some states, you can't have a gun.
Yeah.
Or if you effectively can't have a gun because it's so tight.
Yeah.
But in other states, you can carry a pistol on you with no permit needed.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And so which states have the least gun crime?
Probably the ones with guns.
Right, because if I attack you, I don't know if you're going to shoot
me. That's right.
And that's called self-defense. Now, in this country, I've got a mate who he carried a baseball bat next to the passenger seat between the door, okay?
Yeah.
I said, what's this for? He said, mate, what do you think it's for?
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And he was a bit of a mouth, but he's a nice guy, but he kept it there for defense.
Yes.
He kept a baseball glove and a baseball in the boot of his car.
Because otherwise he wouldn't have had a reason to have the bat, and that's our laws and it's horseshit. Yeah.
Your number one duty, and my number one duty, is to protect my wife and kids.
Yes.
There is nothing else.
Yeah.
And secondly, to protect myself.
Yeah.
And you protect yourself.
Yeah.
When you take that away from you, the fundamental thing about a government is that they should be there to protect the people.
Yes.
When you stop the people being able to defend themselves, you're crippling the society.
It should protect its people as a general rule, but when it comes to 2 people, one has committed a crime and the other has defended themselves, you don't protect the one that committed the crime.
No.
I've said on here a heap of times, we've watched videos and stuff, we've had them up there, like the shop owner up at, I think he was up at the Sunny Coast somewhere, the 6 guys beat the shit out of him last year or early last year. These kids breaking into houses. Like I've said it on here 100 times. Like I couldn't give a flying fuck about the law. I don't know if you've got a mask on and it's nighttime in my house. I don't know that you're 17. You could be 40.
Yep.
Later on, I might feel bad if you're 17. If I've taken your head off, I'll be like, well.
But the alternative is your family.
That's exactly right. And I'm sorry, my family wins every time. Like I don't care who you are. I genuinely might feel bad if you're a kid. And you had a mask on. I didn't know that. But if I find it out later, there might be a part of me that feels bad. But you're in my home. That's it. There is no second question. Correct. There is no where does this go.
This is fundamental.
Yeah.
There are three roles I think that the government has. One is to protect life.
Yes.
Second is to protect, the first one about protecting life, if that fails, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's fundamental. You've got to protect life. Yeah. Second thing is to protect property. If I come in here and take over your offices and take over your cars, what's to stop me doing that to anyone? What's to stop anyone doing it? And the third one is to protect freedom. Yeah. Freedom is absolutely essential for creativity. There's so many things we can talk about, but who's responsible for the financial performance of your business?
Me.
Right. How about if we said you can make the orders, but someone else is responsible for financial?
Yeah, which is just, that's how they pass the buck. And that's how they get into Parliament, and you ask questions and you get these, can we come back to that, or whatever it is, the term that they say? Can we check that, or can we
take it on notice? Yeah.
Take it on notice, yeah.
Right.
What a crock of shit.
So the Liberal Party and Labor Party, it's starting to change, but they have got basically someone in charge of each aspect of running the country.
Yeah.
And far too many other aspects that should not be part of running the country federally.
Yeah.
But anyway, they've got oversight of topics. We don't.
Yeah.
We've got to do everything. There were only two of us until recently. Now there's four.
Yeah.
But what happens then is I've got to go in and ask questions about that topic and that topic and that topic. And sometimes there are four topics on at the same time in different committees.
Yeah.
And so I've got to run from one to the next. And so I can't get deeply involved in anything, apart from ones I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And so that means that they can bullshit to me.
Yeah.
And if I'm not well prepared, which I usually am, then they can't bullshit to me. But even so, when I'm well prepared, because I'm not intimately involved in that, so they can bullshit to me, and then I can come back next time and say, you lied to me.
Yeah.
Or you bullshit to me. But what I say sometimes is to the bureaucrat or to the minister, see that camera up there? You can snow me, but you can't snow the thousands of people watching this.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
And so where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. Coming back to the funding.
Yes.
That's why I asked you who's responsible for your business.
Yeah.
The federal government raises the money.
Yeah.
Only a few state taxes. Payroll tax, which is crazy, comes from the states, but about just very few, a handful of taxes, largely. So the vast majority of the money is raised by the federal.
Yeah.
Under the Constitution, the states have the power to legislate. So they're supposed to control most of the services that the government provides.
Right.
And then the local councils, they're not governments, but the local councils operate within state law, but they have the problems. So you got the money, you got the power, and you got the people grappling with the problems in your community.
Yeah, but the people grappling with the problems don't have the ability to do much about it either.
Correct.
Yeah.
But think about this. We're supposed to be a federation of sovereign independent states.
Yeah.
So each state has a responsibility and accountability.
Yeah.
If the federal government is raising the money, which it is, and it took that power from the states in 1943, the states were able to levy income tax, but they didn't actually do it. No income tax.
Yeah.
The federal government took that and started levying income tax because of war provisions.
Yeah.
So what that means is that the federal government has got the cash. And they distribute it to the states in accordance with who can bid the best, most convincing, or if you've got a Labor federal government and a Labor state, they'll get more money and this kind of thing. And so what happens then is who really runs the state?
Well, it's the government's running
Federal government, yeah. Okay, now it gets even worse. I was at Balonne Shire Council, which is St. George, southwestern Queensland, in 2017, and I said, Where does your revenue come from? Because they've got few people and big area to control.
Yeah.
And they said 73% of our revenue each year comes from the federal government.
Right.
And it comes with strings attached.
Yeah.
It comes with guidelines. It tells them how they can spend it and what they can't spend it on.
Yeah.
So who's really running Balonne Shire Council?
The federal government.
The bastards in the federal government.
Yeah.
And think about something else. To run a council, to run your business, you have to think years in front, sometimes decades in front.
Yeah.
And so if you want to set up a council properly, you need to look 25 years in advance and have a plan for the 25 years. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean it'll happen because things might change in society, technology, whatever.
Yeah.
But at least you've got a shot at having a decent plan.
Yeah.
And you can put money away for things 10, 15 years ahead.
Yes.
And do it and make provisions. Now, the federal government has scenarios that limit their length of spending to about 3 years to 5 years on the local councils. How the hell can you plan ahead? How the hell can you do a good job? How the hell can you get the money other than doing woke policies?
Yeah.
If you want to get the money off the Labor Party, woke policies. Liberal Party, woke policies.
Yeah.
That's how they do it all. And where do those policies come from? The United Nations. So essentially, the United Nations is running it through a global governance structure. See, they're already there.
Yeah. So that small place near St. George, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reality of what that is that what they are having to implement and their limitations comes from the UN, effectively.
Yes.
It's filtered, but the powers that be that demand what we do comes from the UN.
And it comes in two forms. One is they've got what's called the International Council of Local Environmental Initiatives, ICLEI, ICLEI.
Yeah.
And councils sign up to that. Most of them have. And they don't realise that that's a UN-driven program. So the councils are actually implementing some of these things themselves. And why they... I held one mayor accountable for it, and he said, we're just in it to get a look at it, see what we can learn. Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah.
And so... but anyway, then the second one is the distribution of money. Because if you distribute money, then people have got to behave in a certain way to get that money, which means they behave in a certain way in accordance with the policies of the United Nations. And most Liberal and Labor MPs in Parliament have no clue what I'm talking about.
Well, no, because they're career politicians and they don't understand what the impact is on the actual everyday person. Like we were talking about it with the fuel stuff the other day. Like if you actually look at you purchasing fuel, for every litre, it's whatever the dollars are. But for you to have the money to do it, you've paid tax on that money when you got it. Then you're paying GST on the fuel. And
GST on the excise, GST on a tax.
GST, you're paying tax on it. There's 3 taxes before you get that litre in your car. And it's like GST was supposed to replace everything. And it was for non-essentials.
And the states were to drop their taxes.
Yeah, but that never happened.
The states were to drop their taxes and the federal government was to drop the level of income tax.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
No. They introduced this and kept everything.
Right. It makes it even worse. This is going to make you boil. You get up in your house in the morning and just pretend you're a pay-as-you-go on wages, right?
Right.
So you get up in your house, which you've paid, the purchase price, almost 50% is tax.
Yes.
So what you've got left, you've still got to pay. So when you take your pay home, you've got to still pay half your cost of your house in tax.
Yeah, yeah. We did this sum about a year ago. It was like for $100, and it was in just taxes. It was gone in about 7 steps.
So then the next thing you do, so you've woken up. The next thing you do is you say, okay, I need to save money, so I'll make my lunch.
Yep.
Bread, 50% tax.
Yeah.
Cost of a loaf of bread is 50% tax by the time you work it out. Which, by the way, means for your house, your tax rate is 100%.
Yeah.
Which means your tax on your bread is 100% because the 50 and 50 match up. And then you say, jump in the car with your packed lunch and away you go. And you say, oh, shoot, I've got to get some fuel. So you pull over a servo.
Yep. And
when the figures I worked this out on were about 70 cents a litre, I think. Anyway, might have been $1.10. I can't remember. But the point I'm getting to is that the tax rate was essentially 230%.
Yeah.
230%. This is before you get to work
to
earn money where you get ripped off 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
Or if you're on a medium tax bracket, high tax bracket, you get paying 48% plus the Medicare levy. Yeah. You're paying almost 50%.
Yeah.
And so there's some figures that came out in the late 1990s, early 2000s that said a person on the average income, not a flash income, an average income, pays 68% of their wage on taxes, rates, levies, fees, supercharges, surcharges. That means that you're working from Monday morning, when you start your week, to Thursday smoko to pay for government.
Yep.
So people say the biggest purchase of my life is house. Bullshit. The biggest purchase of your life is government.
Yeah, yeah.
The second biggest purchase of your life is your house, and the third biggest purchase of your life is your car.
Yeah.
You getting value for money?
No. And that's the problem, right? Kerry Packer said it really well a few decades ago.
Yeah.
You know, we're not. And then you've got like your rego. Like, why is there tolls if there's rego? Doesn't that service the road issue?
Yep.
You know, isn't there the Story Bridge? Like the government built it, paid it off probably multiple times, and then sold it. Like, why is that even got a toll on it anymore? Where did we get money out of that?
A Story Bridge doesn't have a toll.
No, not the Story Bridge, the Gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was built by the government, and then however many times it paid itself off over the years, and then they sell it.
Well, I used to be one that was in favour of saying get government out of everything.
Yeah.
But what I've come to realise is that a lot of things are based on control.
Yeah.
And so if you have a monopoly, water, roads, and a few other things, sewerage, and you hand that over to a private company, they will extort huge increases in revenue for that.
Yeah.
So you can't afford. Maybe in a country like the United States, in some cities, you could have 2 or 3 people providing the water, having separate networks. Okay. Yeah. But here, you've got one network looking after the whole state, basically.
Yeah.
And you've got to have it under government control. And if the government does a poor job, shift to New South Wales.
But that's the problem. Like the government, I'm pretty sure, was the ones that built the Gateway, and then didn't they sell it off to a private equity?
I don't know if they did, but that's quite often what happens. So what I'm saying, and what I think I'm hearing you say, is that we, the taxpayers of Queensland, have paid for the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then we sell it because the Labor Party and to some extent the Liberal Party got into too much debt by trying to buy bribes from voters.
Yep.
And so now we've lost what we built and earned and paid for.
Yes.
And now we're paying for it again.
That's right. So they've bought it. Basically, the private equity, whoever it is that bought it, effectively bought it as an investment property, and they're getting their daily return on that.
And they're getting tolls.
Well, that's the tolls, right? But then they're probably paying tax on the tolls to the government, so they're still getting a feed out of it. Whatever the amount that it sold for, I don't know where that money went. Like, this is the thing, right? It's like we're paying the most tax that we've ever paid in so many different ways, and yet we're in debt.
Yep.
Like how does that even make sense? Like, I think it was the world.
So who did the government serve?
Well, the UN and all its backdoor deals.
So the UN was set up to fund not necessarily to fund, but to funnel money to BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. And those bastards own shares of each other.
Yeah, right.
And who owns the controlling interest, the controlling shares in each of the big 4 banks? BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. They own about almost 10% combined.
Yeah.
And their shares are interlocking.
Yeah.
And you might think, how do they control it? Because of the way the board's composed. They control it. So we don't have one bank. Sorry, we don't have 4 banks. We have one bank hiding behind 4 logos. Yeah. Their policies are the same, their strategies are the same, their products are the same, their services are the same. Yeah. They don't have to compete. No. And then the government says, but should be right, Ben, we'll look after you with regulations. Bullshit. The regulations are there to protect the banks.
Yep.
Make it difficult to touch them.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is stitched up. Coles and Woolies, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Qantas, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street.
Yeah, right.
So they're all siphoning money. Jim Killaley was the Deputy Commissioner of Taxation in charge of international matters and large companies in Australia. He retired in 2015, 2016. He said twice, once in 1996, another time in 2010, large companies in Australia are owned 90% by foreign corporations.
Yeah.
And since 1953 have paid little or no company tax.
Yeah.
Little or no company. Who's paying their share of tax?
We are.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
That's why we've got such high rates for families and individuals.
But then doesn't that come down to all these deals, like all of the taxes on like exports? Like that's next to nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like I think we did the sums on one of the episodes a while ago where if you just, I think it was something like if you just taxed 5% export on just the coal, that covered, and we went through like how how many residential addresses there are, how many medium income electricity bills were, and all that, and the amount that of just that tax would have meant that nobody paid electricity in Australia.
Yep.
Like, it was mental.
Yep.
And then we export. You've got a great one. I've got it on there, I think, on one of the screens. I was looking at it earlier. There's one of the American guys talking about how we export 7 times the coal that we burn in Australia. It's one of your social media things, and I've seen that clip before as well. Like, this is the problem, right? You look at some of these things and you go, it's so dodgy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this bloke.
What is wrong with you Australians? You have natural resources that are the envy of the rest of the world. You're the Saudi Arabia of the Southern Hemisphere. You export 7 times more coal than you consume, and yet you don't want to burn coal. You have nearly 30% of the world's uranium, and you won't build nuclear reactors. You export 3 times more natural gas in the form of LNG than you consume, and you won't drill for gas. I mean, I just don't get it. I love Australia. I think it's an amazing country, but your policy is just baffling.
Yeah.
So what do we just learned about him? He's telling the truth. He's spot on target.
Yeah.
He's hit the mark.
Yeah.
What have we learned about him?
Well, he can apparently see it clearly than anybody over here can.
But he can't see what's driving it. He doesn't understand the underlying drivers in this country.
Right.
We have got Chevron, the world's largest tax avoider.
Yep.
Major player in the Northwest Shelf gas, exporting our gas for bugger all.
Yep.
The Japanese, we levy, by the time you look at royalties and taxation, apart from GST and things like that, which the companies have to pay.
Yeah.
Well, but they can reclaim it because they're not the end user.
Yes.
So, but there are taxes that the government, that the gas producers pay, but not the taxes they should be paying. Nothing like it. So they export gas basically free.
Yeah.
To Japan, and Japan levies $3 billion a year on import duties on our gas. And then sometimes we buy our bloody gas back, not from Japan, but from other countries, and we charge a higher rate for it. We are getting screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, we are charged a higher rate for it, yeah.
And Norway has a sovereign wealth fund. You know, they get good amount of money for every hydrocarbon that they export, whether it's oil or gas. We get pretty high royalties now in Queensland and less so in New South Wales for coal.
Yeah.
But gas, next to nothing. So we have one of the highest gas prices in the world. Yeah, we're the 2nd or 3rd biggest exporter of gas. We are the world's when you combine coal, where we're number 2, and gas, we're number 3 exporter. Yeah. When you combine them, we are the largest exporters of hydrocarbon fuels in this country, in the world. The largest exporters of hydrocarbon fuels. But we can't use the stuff here.
This is the problem that I've got with all of that, is if we can't use it, why are we able to dig it up and sell it? Like, what is the loophole there? Because is it, someone was talking about they're drilling for, they can drill for oil, or we already have drilled for oil here?
Yeah, we've got a lot of oil.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of oil, we've got a lot of coal, we've got a lot of gas.
Got a lot of oil shale.
Yeah, so it's like that is like the most blatantly obvious question. It's like, why aren't we self-sufficient? Why is there talk about our reserves are this or that? We should have reserves for the rest of the world.
We have got major iron ore mines in the west, around the Pilbara. We've got major coking coal mines. The best coking coal in the world. Coking coal means steel-making coal,
right?
Metalliferous coal, whatever you want to call it, steel making.
So the better fundamental for making steel.
Yeah. Not all coal can make steel properly. Yeah, or good quality. What about we build a railway line from the west coast to the east coast? Yeah. And then we send the iron ore east, and we send the coal west, and we have steel mills in the Pilbara and steel mills in Moranbah or Abbott Point. And then we have the world's best quality steel from the best quality ingredients and be amongst the cheapest in the world, because all the ships that take our iron ore, the ships that take our coal, go up loaded, and they come back empty. Yeah. It's all waste. Yeah. But every train carrying iron ore carries coal back. Probably not as full, because coal's a fraction of the weight of iron ore. Yeah. But nonetheless, you get what I'm saying.
Well, you're not wasting trips.
And people from overseas, Chinese, the Taiwanese, the Koreans, the Indians, the Indonesians, and the Australians and the Yanks want to invest in that.
Yeah.
It's like pulling teeth trying to get anything through to the government. And if we were the major exporter of steel in the world, what would happen to our shipbuilding? What would happen to the ports that we have on the east coast of Queensland? Townsville, Cairns would flourish and blossom in shipbuilding.
Yeah.
It's just a complete rort, and the government is getting in the way. We've been pushing that steel for several years now.
Yeah.
But it's not our invention. The idea came from someone in Western Australia 40, 50 years ago, Lang Hancock.
Yeah.
And it might have even preceded him. But there's no vision in this country. Why? Because the bastards are working for the UN. And I'm not talking about all MPs. As I said, most MPs wouldn't understand what you and I are talking about.
Yeah.
But the majority of them are just asleep. And so that's what's destroying our country.
Yeah, but if you've got a room full of career politicians that are literally there for a paycheck, and some of the numbers that we were getting told about some of the dollars that these guys are earning is just astronomical, and it's like, well, people in and around the government, maybe not. I think one of the lobbyists or someone we were told about was earning bloody 3 or 4 times what Albo's earning.
Well, I asked the questions in this about 2016 and then 2019. I think it was closer to 2019 now, but or closer to now. But the lowest, Morris. That's right. It was Morrison was in power. He was on $535,000 a year.
Yeah.
The lowest paid department head at the same time was on $650,000.
Yeah. Right.
Some of them are getting $1 million.
Yeah.
The head of the CSIRO 3 years ago was getting $1,051,000.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, it's backdoor deals. It's behind closed doors. You vote for this. You help me with that. Like it's like plain as day. Like what's going on. But again, I come back to the thing of what is it that has to happen that fixes it? Like, is it a change in the way we vote? Because all this preferential stuff seems to be more confusing for people than anything else. Like, is it a breakup of the two parties? Is it the addition of the party? Like, what is it that people can sit back at home and go, right, this is something that I can do in the next 6 to 12 months that will help change the things that are blocking us from fixing this shit.
So who's in charge of the country, supposedly?
Well, at the moment, supposedly Albo.
Yeah, but who's in charge of the country under our Constitution?
Technically the people.
The people.
Yeah.
The people have got to start doing their job. They've got to be actively involved. They've got to start voting for the Labor Party and Liberal Party second last, always the Greens last. Yeah. Because the Greens are the ones that introduce these policies from the UN and glorify them, and then people are starting to wake up to the Greens because the Greens spend more time talking about Palestine and things that are outside the country and things that are wrong inside this country, which are not wrong at all. Yeah. But so the Greens last, but Labor and Liberal second and third last, because the more that we put Labor and Liberal down and start electing decent alternatives, then the better it becomes. Have a look at the every major climate and energy policy was introduced by which party?
Labor. No, Liberal.
Correct, Liberal.
Yeah.
Who started it?
I'm guessing the Greens.
They started the policies, sure, but the laws. Who made the laws? Which Liberal government started it?
Oh God, I wouldn't even know.
Howard government.
Okay, right.
And when you say that to people, they go, "What? Honest Johnny? He was the best prime minister we've had since Menzies."
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I was never a mad fan of John. I liked oh my God, now I can't even remember his name.
Abbott?
No, back in the day, Bob Hawke. I like, you know, there's a lot of bad stories about him and stuff like that, but I liked how you watch stuff of him and you go, that bloke's an Aussie. You know, like.
He was very good at that, but I thought, I'll come back to Hawke, I thought Howard was really good.
Okay.
And then I started studying the climate.
Yeah.
And the climate fraud. And then I saw who implemented most of the basic policies that are now killing our country, and it was John Howard. Yeah. And then, as his government did so, mate, they even went around the Constitution deceitfully to put in place things that stripped property rights. Now, you know that one of the most fundamental things for personal responsibility and for achievement in any country is having secure property rights. What you own is yours.
Yeah.
If I can come in and steal them, that destroys responsibility.
Yeah.
So John Howard's government did a deal with the United Nations to steal farmers' property rights to comply with the UN's Kyoto Protocol. That
Really?
is, and he pretended to be a states' rights man and a savior of property rights. He got the boot in 2007, and I actually wrote him a letter, I'm embarrassed to say, and I didn't do this with anyone else. I said, thanks for what you've done for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
6 years later, in London, after we were told by his government that it was all based on science, this climate stuff and energy stuff,
Yeah.
he said in London, just quietly in a public address, on the topic of climate science, I'm agnostic. He didn't have it.
Right.
So the whole lot is based on bullshit. And coming back to Maurice Strong, who we talked about early on, Maurice Strong is the one grandfather who is dead now, but he died in 2015.
Yeah.
He's the UN ambassador we were talking about.
Yeah.
And put in place these policies.
Yeah.
And he's the one who fabricated climate fraud. He's also the guy who started, one of the co-founders and directors of the Chicago Climate Exchange, which trades carbon dioxide credits.
Right.
So who's going to make a shitload of money out of that? He is.
Yeah.
And he also wanted to put it, get enough revenue to fund the United Nations, so that it wouldn't have to depend upon grants from America. So the bastards, see what I mean? It's calculated. And then he put in place Agenda 21, which is 17 different goals for controlling every aspect of your life and my life. Every aspect. Energy, transport, education, food, agriculture, what you can and can't grow, who can and can't grow it, everything. And when they got control of you, they also want to control the money, which they've got control of. So control of money, energy, and food. They've got you by the balls.
So what is it that happens? Because I know, like, even when we were looking at property to get a decent bit of land, that we were going to have, like our own solar, our own sewer, like our own rainwater and stuff like that. Even that, when you don't have any of the power and the water and that coming to your property, you've still got to pay all the taxes on it because it runs past the front of your house or something like that. Like, there's so many different things where you're like, I want to be self-sufficient. I want to have my own renewable little thing. Because I don't think there's any problem with people having solar and their battery systems and stuff like that. It's just that people do that in my scenario because I want to be self-sufficient, but people do it in the cities because the fucking astronomical cost of electricity. But if we were actually using the stuff that we have as a natural resource here, we wouldn't need all the solar crap. It's like they created this problem with high prices and then created their own solution to it, being the solar and that. And then in the beginning, when I want to say like early sort of 2005, 6, whatever it was, you could put like monster solar systems on your roof. And then I think they worked out, oh, hang on a minute, this is going a bit further than we thought. And then they they minimized, or whatever the word would be. They pulled back what you were allowed to put on your roof. Because there was one guy I was talking to in Harvey Bay years ago, he was getting like good money back on his electricity each month because he was feeding so much back into the grid. Like, so it's like they create a problem, then they create this solution for you, but then it's all that form of, like you said, control, because the problem wouldn't be there if we would just use what we have available to us now.
Right, and I can still remember Peter Beattie as Premier of the state introducing the subsidies for solar.
Yeah, yep.
And he gave you subsidies for buying the solar panels, putting them on your roof.
Yeah.
Then he gave you, I think the electricity tariffs at that time were about 20 cents per kilowatt, okay? He gave you 60 cents a kilowatt hour for everything you pumped into the grid.
Yeah.
People signed up Howard Western Centre, and then they cut it back,
yeah.
And now they're getting peanuts. But what's worse, see, to a mouse, the cheese in the mousetrap is free.
Yeah.
Until he gets caught.
Yes.
Then it's cost him his life. So what happens with solar is that they now can control, with smart meters,
yes,
whether or not you feed power into the grid.
Yep.
And if it's, we had the world's best electricity network grid in the world, the best. It was the cheapest electricity in the world. They built aluminium smelters in Hunter Valley for that reason, Gladstone for that reason. Now, Tomago's under threat. It's going to get subsidies because the wind and solar is driving it out of business.
Yeah.
Curry, where I grew up, part of my life, is now shut. The smelter's shut. Gladstone's under threat. Gladstone will start getting subsidies for that. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're giving subsidies to solar and wind, which drive up the price of electricity.
Yep.
Or taxes, but both. And then we drive our manufacturing overseas. Where does it go? It goes to China.
Yeah.
China produces 4.7 billion tons of coal a year.
Right.
Billion. We produce around about 450 million tons.
Yeah.
So they produce about 9 times. And they still take coal from us because they want our high-grade coking coal, they want our high-grade steel coal, and also our thermal coal.
Yeah.
So we take our coal and put it in an Australian power station just by a conveyor belt coming out of the mine into the power station.
Yeah.
No bloody transport.
Yeah.
We sell that electricity at 26 to 33 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
The Chinese take our coal, put it on a train, take it to port a couple hundred kilometres, stockpile it at the port, which costs money, put it on a boat, send it thousands of kilometres, stockpile it again on the port, unload it, which costs money, put it on a train, send it to the power station, and they sell that electricity at 8 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
Well, that's the question with our whole government is what the hell's going on?
And so when we subsidise our electricity, solar and wind, it raises the cost of our electricity, which sends out...
But we're only doing solar and wind because of the bullshit climate thing, right?
Correct.
Right.
So that's what it's about. What they did was Maurice Strong again. He worked out that to get that installed, someone would have to benefit from it.
Yeah.
Now the people are going to have to pay for it because it's always about control and wealth transfer. Control and wealth transfer.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, let's get some fat cat billionaires and let's give them the solar and wind subsidies. And Warren Buffett,
yes,
the world's most astute, most successful investor ever.
Yep.
Ever. He said, wind turbines are a lousy investment. Yeah. Subsidised wind turbines are a wonderful investment.
Yeah.
Because they collect on subsidies. These bastards are getting subsidies and paid for electricity on the basis of a contract, even if they produce none.
Yeah, right.
And you're paying for that. And so what happens is our manufacturers go out of business because we've got higher... Manufacturers... used to be labour costs were very high for manufacturers. Yeah. Sorry, they were the highest cost category. Nowadays, labour is way down because of automation and so on. And the number one cost category for most manufacturers is electricity. Yeah. So what we're doing is driving our manufacturers out of business. And where do they set up? China.
Yeah.
So they get the jobs. Then we get a supply network, electricity supply grid that was the best in the world. It's now dependent on Chinese products.
Yep.
And it's now amongst the highest electricity prices in the world. Outside of Europe, it is the highest, and even in Europe, South Australia is higher.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're destroying manufacturing. I was on 2018-19, we had a tail end of a drought. Mm-hmm. And I was in North Queensland, Townsville, Central Queensland, South Queensland. Talked to farmers in 3 areas.
Yeah.
They all said at the time of a drought, when we should be planting fodder crops like hay and lucerne, etc., we're not because the water pumping costs are so high because of electricity rates. So we're in a bloody drought and we can't grow fodder. Yeah. So it's starting to affect our food. So Kissinger, who was a notorious globalist, an evil man, he said that whoever controls the food, the money and the energy controls the world. That's all that's happening.
That all comes back to the UN. So the issue that we've got then is that, correct me if I'm wrong, Australia could, if the rest of the world just overnight disappeared, Australia has the ability to be self-sufficient, self-sustaining.
In the 50s, 60s and 70s, almost everything we consumed in this country came from within our country.
So
almost everything.
Our food, our steel, our...
Yep, there are only a few things. You know the car assembly process, the car manufacturing process, steel tools are really important.
Yeah.
Dies, cutting, lathes, etc. We exported lathes and other cutting tools overseas.
Right, okay.
Now we've got hardly anyone who knows how to use the bloody things.
Oh, look, we've got that downstairs here. We've got bead rollers and English wheels and plenishing hammers, and you get half of these guys come in that have done metalwork, they wouldn't even know how to use one.
Yeah.
And that's all basic stuff, let alone...
So what happened, Ben, was that the UN said, wouldn't it be wonderful to be interdependent? Sounds cozy and cuddly, doesn't it? Mm. I'll depend upon you for some things and you depend upon me for other things.
Yeah.
What does that make me?
Dependent.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it depended on controls. Now, we're an island continent.
Yeah.
Someone puts on a blockade, we're stuffed. We're gone.
Yeah.
So what they've done is deliberately shut down vital industries. We don't make cars.
No.
We don't make motorbikes. It's bloody hopeless. We buy all of our most of our defence equipment from overseas, and then we modify it and fuck it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're famous for it, but these things are because of incompetent government and dishonest government. That's what it's the root cause. And why? Because the people are asleep. The people are saying to Alba, keep going. 30%, 34% voted, but keep going.
Yeah, I've been guilty of it. Like, I've had conversations in the past, even before up until very close to Pauline coming on, where I've thrown a blanket over that complacency as just Aussie spirit that we'll just keep going. Like, it'll be all right. We'll just keep going. I'll deal with me. Let them deal with it. And it's like, it's shown us, like, COVID was a big thing. That whole woke narrative was a big thing. We didn't really skip a beat, because I'll still drop F-bombs and we didn't take a single day off through COVID. I got COVID once and I took a week off. But as far as the shop, we didn't shut. We were like, fuck them. Like, I got bills to pay.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Good on you.
You can see the concept of this whole universal basic income as being a form of control, you know, where they go, no, we'll deal with it. We'll look after you.
Social credit.
Yeah. And the social, with the IDs. Like, fuck right off. I'm like, beer, cash, and I'll go to work, and that's all I need to worry about as far as my little circle. But the concept of everybody being in Australia, being able to be self-sufficient, but it's like, how do you remove yourself from the grip of something like the UN, and even things like the port up at Darwin? Like, how do you turn around and go, right?
You tell them to get fucked.
This is what my question is. How do you do it and then not cop substantial potential repercussions?
In the form of trade barriers.
Fuck
and
trade.
That's some of their threats. We won't comply with the World Trade Organization.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can still say, go to hell. But what you have to do is, before you tell them to go to hell, you have to build your industries back.
Okay, right.
And you can say things like, our policies, the best I've ever seen for the last election, and they're still largely there, and we're refining them. And the other parties and the media say, One Nation's got no policies, just a grievance industry. You copied some of our bloody policies.
Yeah, yeah.
And you if you didn't copy them, you talked about them as if you had them.
Yeah. And
so our policies were based on 4 criteria, four segments, and I've never seen it done before.
Yeah.
$40 billion back in people's pockets, because you know better how to spend your money than the damn government.
Absolutely.
Okay? So we put money back in your pocket, and people are doing things really tough because of cost of living, all because of artificial inflation of the energy prices.
Yep. And housing.
That's correct. So, and who was the one who raised housing prices?
Well,
who was the one who raised the topic of housing prices?
Exactly.
We did.
Yeah.
And people said, you're a lunatic. I raised, because of Barnaby Joyce in our party, identified this issue. Trump went followed Netanyahu into Iran on Friday, the 28th of February.
Yep.
3 days later, on Monday, the first Senate session after that war started, Barnaby Joyce, geez, he's good. He's just so bright. And he's really humble too, which surprised me,
Yeah.
But he's highly intelligent, very experienced. And he said, first thing in the party meeting, he said on Monday before the Senate started, he said, we've got to get onto fuel because it's going to be a real problem for farmers, for truckies, for supermarkets, food supply. Yeah. He said it's going to be shot. So I went out in question time that day and raised the looming fuel crisis.
Yeah.
And big Tim Ayres, the senator from New South Wales on the Labor Party, said, You far right-wing extremists, you're causing nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks, they denied there was a fuel crisis.
Yeah. Denied there was going to be.
But there was starting to be. Service station shutting.
Yeah.
So on the Tuesday, Pauline and I went out again in the Senate. On the Wednesday, Sean Bell went out and Tyron Whitten went out. And then on the Thursday, Pauline and I went out again. The Nationals finally woke up around about Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
The Liberals didn't wake up till the following week. And meanwhile, by then, we were onto the solutions that are needed. And they've copied our bloody solutions. They've adopted them.
Yeah.
But we were the far right-wing extremists, we were labelled, because we dared raise the issues of fuel security and fuel price volatility. And we brought the solutions with us. But that's what I mean, you know. These things are basic. They're fundamental.
Yeah. So how do we cycle that back up in Australia, though? Like, what is it? Like, okay, here's the question for you. Who, in your eyes, should be running the country? I mean, obviously the answer is the people, but as far as the person that is in the chair, who should be running the country?
Well, not one person should be running the country.
Right.
Under our system of government, the Westminster system, which came from Britain, it's a combination of Westminster principles and American congressional principles.
Right.
Our founding fathers combined them both, and I think they did a really good job. It's not perfect because it was developed many years ago, but for goodness sake, don't touch it because they'll fuck it.
Then you'll open up a can of worms. Yeah.
But it's good the way it is.
Yeah.
If it was followed, if we had competitive federalism, what's happened? So to answer your question, that's a cabinet is formed. There's no position called Prime Minister in our Constitution. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know
There's
that.
no position.
Okay.
And the Governor-General has limited reserve power. So it's not the monarchy that runs the country.
Yeah.
It's the Constitution. And what we have to do is have governments. It's all defined how to do it. And it's a good definition. But we don't comply with the Constitution. We should get back to complying with the Constitution. This national cabinet is pure bullshit.
Right.
It should be just the federal government runs small areas of the country, small topics, a limited number of topics in the country, defence, foreign affairs, trade, border security, maybe communications, environment, health, education, Aboriginals, energy, all state.
Yeah.
We should get out of the UN. So what we've got to do is get back to having a competitive federalism, where mainly states make most of the decisions, and then you get real accountability. Instead, what's happened, John Howard, again, he brought in GST.
Yes.
And the GST basically takes money from the wealthy states that produce the wealth, Western Australia, and the rest of the states are parasites. New South Wales and Victoria, they get more money into GST than they take out, so they're not parasites. Queensland's one of the wealthiest states in the world, potentially, and we take money out of the GST.
Yeah, right.
What the hell is going on? Tasmania, South Australia, and what it's now called is called competitive welfareism, because if you do nothing with your resources, you get more money.
Yeah, right.
So
through the subsidies and everything.
So what I'm saying is to fix our country, we need the people to wake up, to call out the MPs and to get them to start serving them. But then we need to have the federal government and the states government working properly as governments who work as a cabinet, not one person fix it. Because, you know, Barnaby Joyce, to look at an example, because he had that Deputy Prime Minister experience, he raised the issue of fuel security before anyone else. Yeah. And then we had several people in our office, including our staff, who then pitched in and came up with different ways of getting the message through. And that's what was effective about it. And now the Labor Party is saying, aren't we good for the fuel crisis?
So, so the answer that you've given there is obviously the ultimate one is to get back to more of the roots of our Commonwealth and how it should be run. What we've got coming up next, though, is an election for one person in that seat. So it's like what part of what we can do gets us back to doing that, gets us back to the way it should be, gets like because it's the system, like I've said it on here a few times. I think it's going to be a hard task for anybody to get in that seat because the system is what's governing what that seat can even do. Well, and the deals that we've done around the world and all that shit.
For a start, don't vote for someone who is cause of the problem, Labor or Liberal. Yeah. Put them down the list. So what we say is One Nation understands the issues, so give us a go.
Okay.
And we'll eventually form a government. It might not be the next election, but people can now see that we can be a government.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect.
Yeah.
But we're a damn sight better than the parties that are lazily tearing the country apart.
I don't think Australia expects perfection. I think they want progress. They want shit to move forward in the right way.
But that means we've got to stop pushing shit back.
Yeah.
Pushing it backwards. We've got to start turning around and restoring the country.
Yeah.
In the 1900s, Australia had the highest per capita income in the world.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
We're now heading for 20th.
20th on the list, yeah, right.
Yeah. So if you look at Queensland, if you look at Australia, we have more resources per person than any other country in the world. What the hell are we doing with
That's
it?
crazy.
We're told we shouldn't be mining. Bullshit. Everything in this room, including the rubber and that tire, comes out of the ground.
Yeah.
If it's real rubber, it came out of a tree, which came out of the ground. If it's synthetic rubber, it came out of minerals. Yeah. Everything requires coal. Everything in this room requires coal. The lights from power station generation. Steel, if it came from a wind turbine or a solar panel, made with steel, which requires coal. So steel formed or constitutes everything in this room. Your clothes, your watch, your beard was trimmed with steel razors this morning. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. Everything.
That's what I find so funny about the topic of the electric cars is plug it into the wall that's powered by a coal power station. Like, you just kind of go, like, you know, the whole thing's a bit of a joke.
Well, it's a really sad joke because electric vehicles will never compete on price with the equivalent petrol car.
Yeah.
Because they use more power to make. Yeah. They've got more exotic minerals in them, and they've got more minerals full stop. And you've got a heavier car because of the battery. Yeah. And it doesn't get any lighter as the battery winds down.
No.
So what happens is you've got bigger brakes, you know that better than I would.
Oh yeah. I totally agree. I think the whole electric car thing's a joke. I have since the very beginning.
And subsidised. Yeah. What happened to the sales of electric cars in America when Trump said stuff your tariffs, stop them?
They probably pretty well stopped. Yeah. But because they're an elitist, conversational purchase. They're for the people that go like, "Oh, I'm doing my bit." Like, but
virtue signaling.
Yeah, but that's right. Virtue signaling, exactly. But then you look at the understanding of like what happens to those batteries when they're used up and dead. They get stored. Like, you can't do anything with them.
Right, and you can't recycle them.
No, like
wind turbines, you can't recycle.
No, you can't. That's the problem. Is these renewable, recycle-friendly things are unrecyclable. Is that a word? Unrecyclable?
Yes.
It sounds like a word. So I'm just making shit up now. But yeah, the whole purpose of what they're pitched to us as is renewables, is green friendly, is earth friendly, is all this, and those things. The solar panels, you can't recycle a solar panel. Drives me fucking mental.
Let's look at the basics.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
To produce 100 megawatts of power, I mean, no power station is going to be 100 megawatts, but just for each unit, 100 megawatts, all right, of power. Coal-fired power station at 100 megawatts per hour produces 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. You get 100 megawatts. Occasionally, you schedule maintenance and shut down. And by the way, coal-fired power stations are not falling apart. They're not declining in maintenance. Their availability is slightly higher than it was. Yeah. But what I'm saying is you get that 100 megawatts and you get stable power,
yes,
synchronous power, and you get reliable power and you get secure power.
Which means no fluctuations in the grid and all the other stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
And no cost for managing the fluctuations because you don't have to manage them. Yeah. It's all done. Synchronous power is stable power.
Yeah.
So then the other thing is coal-fired power station has a limited footprint. 40 hectares will do a coal-fired power station. That's it.
Yeah.
And you've got one set of, maybe 2 or 3 sets of transmission lines, but one corridor disturbing farmers, disturbing the environment, building to that power station.
Yeah.
And the power stations can be very concentrated forms of electricity.
Yeah.
Solar and wind. The average utilization, is 23%. It varies from year to year, 22%. Yeah. So if you've got a 100 megawatt wind turbine, you'll get 23 megawatts out of it.
Yes.
If you've got 100 megawatts of solar panels, you'll get 23 out of it because of the sunlight and it all varies.
Yeah.
Right? So that means you've got to put 4 times in.
Yes.
You've got to put 4 lots of solar panels in. So you've got 400 megawatts installed. You've got 400 megawatts of turbines installed.
Yep.
but you're getting 100 watts out of them. Maybe. And then what happens is, at peak hour, which is when we use our electricity, it's 10% of capacity factor. Yeah. So you need 10 times the amount. Yeah. So you need 10 times, you need 1,000 megawatts, whereas a coal-fired power station 100 megawatts. Yeah. And the capital costs of solar and wind for equivalent are even higher than coal. So you've got now 10 times as much solar and wind. But hang on, what about nighttime?
Yeah. Well, wind doesn't stop at night, but the sun's fucked up.
Wind quite often slows down at night. Quite often stops.
Yeah, I get the pitch on that. Is it's like, oh well, the wind's always moving, but the sun's only X amount of hours, and then but the problem with it is that the coal-fired power stations, there's no single component of that, like a solar panel or a lithium battery or a blade, from a wind turbine that you can't do anything with when it's over.
But we'll get back to that story in a minute. But the most graphic way you can say it is, 170 years ago, your ancestors and my ancestors, where'd you come from? Which, Europe?
I'm Scottish and Irish.
Okay. Our ancestors, just 170 years ago, were scratching around in the dirt trying to work out where the next meal would come from.
Yes.
The lifespan was incredibly low, 30, 40, 50 years of age, 50 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
In the space of 200 years ago, a king or queen would not live as easily, as safely, as healthily, as comfortably, as securely as someone on welfare in this country today.
Yeah.
And that's not slagging off on welfare. That's saying how poor life was back then.
Yeah.
200 years. 200 years. We've been on the planet, hundreds of thousands of years as humans?
Yeah.
200 years, and we've gone from scratching in the dirt, wondering where our next meal was going to come from, how we'd feed our kids, to now this.
Yeah.
And that is phenomenal.
Yeah, bitching about melted ice cream on Uber Eats.
Yeah, so what...
First world problems.
And what drove that?
Well, lots of things drove that. The industrial, build-up, electricity, everything.
Yeah, and so I'll tell you what built it, hydrocarbon fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas.
Okay.
And then along came uranium.
Right.
Uranium's even more energy dense, but they cost more to build.
Yeah.
So the coal-fired power station is still the cheapest. So what I'm saying is coal, oil, and natural gas transformed our world for every human.
Okay, yeah.
We live longer. We until recently, and we got COVID shots. I didn't get them, but we had healthier lives.
Yeah.
Longer lifespan. Since the COVID shots, we got a lower lifespan.
Yeah.
But every which way you want to look at it, we got a better lifestyle.
Yes.
And so, coming back to the numbers, so 10%. And as the sun starts going down and the sun starts rising in the morning, which is where peak hour, you get very little limited solar.
Yeah.
So at night the wind goes down. So generally, not all the time. So that means you've got lower capacity factor.
Yeah.
But then, so that means you've got to have enough to generate to charge the batteries for the nighttime use.
Yeah.
So, so we've got 10 times, we've got 1,000 megawatts in store capacity. So you better make that maybe 50% more. So that means 1,500 just to generate power during the day in limited time for solar, limited time for wind, to recharge the batteries so you got it at night. And then what about the droughts for solar and the droughts for wind? We got overcast for days.
Yeah.
And no, we've had 4 days of wind and solar droughts in this country. Yeah. So that means you've got to have enough batteries and enough solar and wind for when the sun is out and the wind is blowing to do it for 4 days. You can't physically do that.
Yeah.
You cannot do it. And I've checked these figures with... I just worked it out one day, checked these figures with electrical engineers and electricians. They say, you're spot on, mate. It's fundamentally flawed. And then, so we're now up to what? 40 times the power needed installed?
Yeah.
So you can't afford that.
Yeah.
And even the energy regulators are now starting to admit that, but because they're saying to replace 100 megawatts of coal, you need 600 megawatts of solar and wind.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you that. It's in the graphs. And then you say, okay, coal-fired power station, 60 years.
Yeah.
Nuclear power station, 100 years. Wind and solar, 15 years.
Yeah.
So for every power station you build for a coal-fired power station, you've got to build 4 lots, one after the other, of solar and wind. So we're now up to, 120 times?
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah.
And
it's not sustainable. And each time you replace one, you can't do anything with the product.
No, you can't recycle it. And then to make it worse, you had that coal-fired power station, 40 hectares.
Yeah. One
pipeline, one transmission line corridor to the city. Now you've got, because because the solar and wind are blights and they can't be around metropolitan areas, they're scattered away. So you've got your metropolitan area here, you've got your coal-fired power station here, solar and wind are out here, they're scattered, so you need many more transmission lines, destroying farming land, destroying landscapes. It is fucking crazy. You just have to get back to basics, and you work this out.
I completely agree with you. That's where I keep coming back to it, though, is that we know so many of these dot points, and we're like, we've just got to work out how the hell it changes.
Well, and then you see an example of blatant lies.
Yep.
The National Party and the Liberal Party, because of one nation putting pressure on them about net zero.
Yeah.
Who set up net zero? Morrison.
Yep.
With the National Party. It's the Liberal and Labor. Yep. Who signed the Paris Agreement, UN Paris Agreement? Liberal.
Yeah.
Who went along like a puppy dog's tail, just followed the Nationals.
Yeah.
A couple of the Nationals said, this is bullshit. But we know a lot of the Labor Party people also know it's bullshit. But the Nationals then realised we were outpolling them, and they said, shit, they're going to eat our lunch here. So the people are waking up. So what the Nationals did then was they said, we're going to drop net zero. But they didn't. What they said was, we're going to drop net zero by 2050.
Right.
So they keep the net zero target. That's still there, but it won't be done by 2050. It's a bullshit exercise. So what happens was the Nationals got the headlines and the Liberal Party got the headlines saying, and then the Liberals had to follow the Nationals because of the coalition pressure. Yeah. And they said, they got the headlines, we dropped net zero, but they didn't get the headlines saying we dropped net zero. Sorry, we dropped net zero by 2050, not we dropped net zero. So they're fundamentally lying. They've still got net zero, but it's not by 2050.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't my understanding of the whole net zero thing is if we lost or got rid of the credits that we take for other countries, we would already be net zero anyway.
We have the biggest continental shelf fishing zone in the world, okay, economic zone, because so what I'm saying is we've got a big coastline. It's not the longest coastline in the world because that's the Philippines, because it's got so many islands.
Yes.
Okay, and Canada because of the Arctic.
Yeah.
But we have got a very big coastline with oceans, and oceans absorb carbon dioxide because of the phytoplankton and the plankton, the seaweed, etc., the trees. We are a net consumer of carbon dioxide, our continent, not a net producer. It is all bullshit.
Yeah. All right, man. So, all right. So we could be self-sustaining if we wanted to, or self-sufficient, self-sustaining. We're already net zero. We should have a lot lower.
But net zero doesn't mean anything because carbon dioxide, we can't affect the level.
Yeah.
So we're neutral anyway. And carbon dioxide is beneficial.
Yeah, and that's exactly right because it's greener now than it was 10 years ago, or whatever it was that NASA released. But of that 0.04, aren't we as Australia only like a minute percentage of that anyway? Because we are, even if you look at, forget that we absorb it, the production of it in what we do here, also we've lowered production of a lot of different things as well. So you can't forget that we absorb it because that's fundamental. Right.
But if you do forget, if you do ignore the way nature stores it, and you just say that of Earth's carbon dioxide production, 97%, according to the UN itself, 97% of carbon dioxide produced on this planet every year comes from nature.
Yeah.
We produce 3% from humans.
Yes.
So that's 32 times what nature produces, 32 times what humans produce.
Yeah.
Australia produces about 1.2% of the world's production. So we produce 1.2% of the 3%.
Yeah.
So what's that? That's 1 point.
It's getting small.
It's 0.0 something percent.
Yeah.
So we produce fuck all of it.
Yeah.
But just remember that I used those figures when I first started off, and then I realized because of the way you can see it in the patterns of cycles of carbon dioxide on a seasonal basis.
Yeah.
And the oceans absorb it, and in the northern hemisphere, the trees absorb it when they get into spring.
Yeah.
We can't affect the level.
Yeah.
If we produce 10 times the carbon dioxide we produce, nature would just keep a little bit more in the oceans.
It'll just respond.
And then people say the oceans are being acidic. The oceans are bloody alkali. They're not acidic, and they're just fluctuating naturally. Everything on this planet varies. You know, if I stand up next to you, people will see that I'm a runt.
Right.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me not human.
Yeah.
That makes me just part of the variation.
Yes.
You know, Ian Thorpe can swim a lap in a faster time than I can.
Yeah.
But someone else these days is swimming faster than he was.
Yeah.
Everything varies, and we've got. I've got a brilliant colleague just south of Canberra, accessed 24,000 data sets on climate and energy. 24,000.
Right.
He goes in, he writes programs, and he scrapes data out of the CSIRO, the UN, the World, the Bureau of Meteorology, NASA, Climate Institute, Met Office in the UK.
Yeah.
24,000. There's not one of them shows that there's a change in climate. So what you've got, not in temperature, not in storm frequency, severity. So what happens is everything varies.
Yeah.
So if something's varying like this, what can you tell me about it?
That it's actually pretty consistent. Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah, well, that would be...
Something changed here.
Yes.
Okay? All the graphs are like this, or they're like this, cycles.
Yeah.
Everything is cycles. Brisbane floods. We had floods in 2011. I think. Didn't we have some in 2022? But anyway, the 2011 floods.
Yeah, the Pine Rivers Bridge went under. I know that, yeah.
2011 floods. Everyone went, oh my God, this is climate change. Wasn't as bad as the 1974 floods, and I was here for all of them. Yeah. 1974 floods. 1974 floods weren't as bad as the 1893, when they had 3 floods in Brisbane in one summer.
Yeah, right.
And then the 1841 floods were even higher. And then there are records in the bush that show that there were floods before that were way, way above, another 5 meters above. So flooding is not a cause. It's just natural cycles. About every 40 years we get a flood in Brisbane. Fact.
Yeah. So I guess the overall, what would be your elevator pitch message to anybody listening on how they can go about getting everything back on track and getting this country to sort of where it should be, where it deserves to be, not the shitfire we're in now.
People wake up, people stand up, and people speak up. That's the take your part in active democracy. Restore active democracy away from the control passive democracy that we're swinging into now, tyranny. Yeah. That's the first thing. Second thing, don't take any notice of the media. There are 3 forms of media these days. There's the independent people's media.
Yep.
Take your cue. There's the anti-social media, Facebook, Instagram, etc. The social media, anti-social. Right. But they can at least give us a voice. And then the third one is the mouthpiece media, the globalist media, the Big Brother media, the lamestream media, the legacy media. Yeah. And don't take any notice of them. Yeah. Some papers, some outlets like the Australian newspaper puts both sides, so it's better than anyone else. But you can't rely upon most of the mainstream media. Yeah. So get off your ass, do your homework, much like you're doing. Yeah. Do your homework and start speaking up. Share what we're talking about with your friends, with your families, with your relatives, with your co-workers, and when someone says something in politics, scrutinise them. Yeah. Think about them.
Ask the question. Dig at least 1 or 2 levels deeper.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Very cool. Is there anything else on your list, or you got any other bits you want to hit on?
I came in with a blank sheet. These are things that you raised, and we've addressed all of them, except for this one. There was a very, very competent climate scientist, Professor Bob Carter. He died in 2016, but he used to go around the country, like me, at his own cost before I got into Parliament, talking about the scam, just to educate people. And he was wonderful. He was passionate about science because he knows that science has given us our way of life. You know, steel came from the science. Everything is coming from science ultimately. Yeah. So he's aware that the need to have scientific integrity. So he did that off his own bat. One day we were just shooting the breeze in a break at some event on exposing the climate scam. And he said, Malcolm, this climate scam's got to be the biggest scam ever. And I said, Bob, it's not even close. He said, what? What do you mean? I said, the money scam, the printing of money out of thin air.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, you're right. That's far bigger. And I said, but it's not the biggest. He said, what's the biggest? The anti-human scam. And he said, what do you mean? I said, the anti-human. He got it pretty quickly, because if you look at the message from the United Nations, if you look at the message from the environmental groups, they say that humans are greedy, irresponsible, rapacious, uncaring, unkind, just don't give a shit. Nothing could be further from the truth, because how do I know that? Because when a mare gives birth to a foal, or a bitch gives birth to a puppy, out pops the foal, lands on the ground, and in about 20 minutes it jerkily gets up on the spindly little legs, and after about half an hour it's trotting.
Yeah.
What? Trotting. And it sidles up to its mum and starts suckling.
Yep.
And then it starts suckling it continues suckling for about 3 months, so I'm told.
Yeah.
Then about 3 months of age, it starts putting its head down and chews the grass.
Yep.
Then it becomes part of the herd.
Yep.
It's not as big as the others, but it's got the necessary robustness to survive.
Yes.
When you were born, mate, you were the same as me. You popped out about this long.
Yeah.
That's about the only time I was comparable in length to you.
Yeah.
But we popped out this long, completely helpless.
Yes.
So I don't know if you had a good mother, good father, bad father, you're abandoned or whatever. Yeah. But I know for a fact that someone nurtured you because they cared.
Absolutely.
And so what they're saying, what the United Nations are saying is basically, and all the globalists, including the billionaires in this country who are globalists, what they're saying is humans are greedy, irresponsible, rapacious, uncaring, unkind. You just don't give a shit. Let us run the country for you.
Yeah, okay.
Let us run the world for you. Yeah. Hang on, aren't you human?
Yeah.
So how come you're not like us?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is in it's embedded in everything the UN does. It's embedded in a lot of the woke policies, the transgender policies, and what we've got to get people to realize is that be very, very proud of being a human, because you do care. If in the 1970s, when we had a massive increase in technology from the Second World War, the 50s, 60s, 70s, we started hurting the environment and we started recognizing it. So what do? We started cleaning it up. Yeah. Because we care, and also because we recognize that it's a better place to live if you look after the planet. So there are two arguments here. There's climate, which is bullshit, and there's protect the environment, which is absolutely essential. But the climate
that just piggybacked off people's actual responsibility and response to things being wrong. Yeah.
Correct. Al Gore, in his movie An Inconvenient Truth, you're probably too young to have watched it.
I know the name of it, but I can't remember.
It's full of lies. I've done an assessment of it. It's completely full of lies. But he won a Nobel Peace Prize for that. So that tells you about the Nobel Prize being hijacked, because he and...
Wasn't the Nobel Prize? Didn't the guy that started all that create dynamite or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all horseshit anyway.
No, but dynamite's a wonderful thing.
Well, yeah, but it's like they talk about the Peace Prize, and I mean, it's like anything, right? If you take a piece of technology and use it for good, then it's good. If you take it and use it for bad, it's bad. But I get what you're saying.
So Al Gore, I watched his movie, and I didn't swallow it the first time I saw it. I thought, this is horseshit, because I knew some of the facts were blatantly wrong.
Right.
Anyway, he started off with doom and gloom and how his sister died from tobacco cancer or whatever, all the sad stuff. And the idea of having the emotional stuff is it bypasses your thinking processes.
Yeah, you can't be emotional and logical at the same time.
Well, you can be, but it's pretty rare.
It's very rare. It's very hard.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And that's why Hollywood uses a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
Because you put your thinking processes aside.
You got to suspend belief for.
So then he's basically painting the picture of, you're an arsehole, you're a human, we got to protect you from this, and I'm the perfect person to protect you from this. You don't care, so let me show you everything. No. And then at the end of the movie, what does he say? He says, because you care, I know you'll do something about this.
Right.
It's everywhere you look, when you stop and think, it's just sticking you fair in the face. It's just jumping out at you.
Yeah.
So the thing I would say to everyone is, be very, very proud of being human.
Right.
Because what we're doing in this country and with the UN is we're indoctrinating kids from this high, saying that humans are greedy, rapacious, uncaring, and irresponsible, when we're not. None of us is perfect. You've got your ego, I've got mine, but humans are wonderful. Humans are blessed. Instill that in the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Well, mate, I love what you're doing. I love what the party's doing. I have had a couple of messages about my lack of the other side having conversations as well. But just, like, I'll talk to anybody. I
You're
think
very easy to talk to, I must say.
I appreciate it. Thank you, and I appreciate your time too, because I know how busy you guys are. But I think the biggest thing for me is just getting people to get a little bit deeper than the 30-second sound bites that the news keeps putting out there, and have a bit of their own thinking. Because, as I said, I was blissfully unaware of a lot of it. But having my eyes open to some of the stuff that this country's doing and has done, and the direction that they're heading themselves and heading us, really scares the shit out of me.
Well, it should, because they're treating us like idiots, because we have been idiots. I was in the same position, and blissfully unaware, and then I started realizing and woke up, and you're waking up. And so I've become active as an activist against this fraud. Now I'm active in Parliament. And you're now active because you're part of the People's Independent Media. Yeah,
I love sharing the stories and getting information out there unfiltered.
Can I mention another thing? There are 8. I thought about this some time ago. There are 8 keys to human progress.
Right.
Okay, so I'll just list them for you. The first one is freedom.
Yeah.
Because everything comes from creativity. If you build shit products, or if you build products that are wonderfully made, but they don't meet people's needs, you won't sell them.
Right.
All right? So you've got to understand people's needs, and you've then got to have the free thinking to think of an idea.
Yeah.
So if I come up with an idea, I might share it with you, and you go, shit, that's good. But then you add dimensions to it, and you blow it out of the water. That's my idea, but you've taken it, and then you take it to Cooper, and Cooper goes, I know how to serve people's needs using this.
Yeah.
And he makes a shitload of money. Good on him.
Yeah.
But freedom, humans are wonderful because we've got that creativity. No other animal has.
Yeah.
But we've also got the language, and we've got the ability to share things and build on each other's. You might get an idea from someone on the other side of the planet, but you build on it.
Yeah.
And then if you meet someone's needs for a product, you'll advance the world. And that's freedom is fundamental. Without that, you haven't gotten human progress. And so that's what they're after. They're trying to stop freedom because they don't want the freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of travel, freedom of movement, freedom of religion, freedom of faith, and above all, freedom of life. Because if you haven't got freedom of life, there's nothing else that matters.
Yeah.
So that's freedom is number one. If you've got freedom, you've got potential for human progress. Then the next one is rule of law, so that your life is safe, so that if you build something, earn something, your property stays with you.
Yes.
And you don't need many laws. We've got probably 1% of the laws we have is what we need. That's it. And the third one is constitutional governance, which means continuity of government. So we don't have a revolution every time that the government changes.
Yes.
So that's the third thing. So you've got stability. So you've now got the freedom to think. You've got the rule of law to protect you. You've got steady constitution, so you continue.
Yeah.
Fourth one is secure property rights, private property rights. What's yours is yours.
Yeah.
And without that, you've got no initiative because someone just steal it from you. You've got no responsibility. The fourth one is strong families. The fifth one is cheap, affordable, secure, reliable, synchronous, stable power, electricity.
Yep. And
environmentally responsible. And coal meets all of them. So does nuclear. So does hydro. Then what are we up to? Then the next one is so it's energy. The next one is honest, efficient taxation. So the taxation is helps productivity, doesn't kill productivity like it's going on at the moment. You know, running a business, this country's buggered with taxation.
Absolutely.
And then the last one is honest money instead of fiat currency. Honest money backed by something that you can call in. So they're the 8. In every one of those eight factors of human progress, we are going backwards in this country. Every one. And yet we used to be, when we had the world's highest income per person in the world 120 years ago, we were at the top. Yeah, so we can get back there.
It's it all looks like, when you look at it on paper and you put the dot points of where things need to change, it really doesn't look that complicated.
It's not.
But it's putting in the procedures to make it so that those changes are possible is where I think where the average everyday person is a little bit lost.
Well, it's also a matter of honesty too, I think, Ben, because if you look at the Nationals and the Liberals, they got the headlines.
Yeah.
Drop net zero. No.
It's because they own the papers, though. Well, they're in bed with the owners. Yeah.
So what we've got to do is restore governance to this country. The biggest problem in this country is shitty governance.
Yeah.
It is hopelessly mismanaged. No vision, very little honesty, no accountability. And then when we call them out, we get buried. But now people are saying, hell, you're getting buried for a reason because they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
So what happens is that we've got to get the people awake and get the people believing the reality, which is that humans are wonderful. Not just good, just wonderful.
Well, I think you're definitely on the right path and you're making waves, which is always fun. I love a good shit stir, and you're definitely out there stirring the pot, which is it's a refreshing change. I think anybody that's out there that is pro Australia, and for Australia and progress and everything over here, I think good on you and keep going. And
well, that's Pauline. She's honest. She's got guts. She leaves me alone. Which means I can do my job. Yeah. She doesn't tell me how to do it. Yeah. She came into my office 2 times during the first 14 months. We don't talk that much because you don't need to.
Yeah,
we're on the same wavelength. So she came in twice and she said, "Good job" the other day.
Yeah,
and walked out. And she came in a couple more times and just said, "Malcolm, you're heading down this path. You got a few wolves on either side of you. Yeah. Watch out. If you want to keep going, keep going.
Yeah."
You could pick up a fair bit of flack here.
Yeah.
But if you want to keep going, you keep going.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's fine. I kept going.
Yeah.
Another time I walked into her office just to ask a couple of questions. She's got very good nous, very good intuition. So I just asked her a couple of questions and then I walked out of the office. And James Ashby came up to me later and said, Pauline walked straight out of her office over to James's desk and said, "That's what I like about that little prick." He walked in, asked a couple of questions, and pissed off.
Yeah.
He didn't come in there to chat and socialise and all the rest of it. But she's no frills. She's very, very passionate about the country. Yeah. She hasn't got any fancy bullshit public service approach or academic approach, which political philosophy is really simple. I love it. Is it in the national interest? Yes, do it. If it's not, don't do it. That's simple. That's it.
Yeah, and I think that's where everybody needs to get their attention on is what they're hearing in the best interest of Australia, or is it not? And do the right thing with their power that they have from there. Because, like I've said a few times on here, like I'd love to get involved in government stuff, at some point down the track, but I'd last 5 minutes. I'd be kicked out. I'd be walking around telling everybody they were full of shit. So wouldn't get received well. Yeah,
we do. You
guys probably do it with a little more tact than I would. It's I've been in workshops too long, but no, I think what you're doing is really good, and I think that's a really good message. Is just for people to look at whatever it is they're hearing is it in the best interest of Australia, and if it's not, fucking walk away from it.
Yep, and my first speech. I started with the words, "As a servant to the people of Queensland and Australia."
Yeah.
The Labor Party sniggered. The Greens laughed. Yeah. The Liberals, can't remember what they did, but they were like stunned, I suppose. And I said that as the opening to every speech, even the short ones, for a few years. Yeah. And then eventually I just dropped it because the message has got through. But we've got to get back to elected representative. Who pays my wages?
The taxpayer.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So who's my boss?
Me.
Right. So people say to me, "Pauline's your boss." And I said, "No, she's not."
Yeah.
I admire her and I work with her, and she leads the
colleague
party.
And
But she's the leader of the party. Yeah. Make no mistake about that.
Yeah.
She's definitely the leader, and she's got, as people say, she's got more balls than most of the men in Parliament.
Yeah.
But she's not my boss. I serve you.
So actually, I was watching something the other day. I can't remember who said it now. But they were talking about the biggest drama. The biggest drama with masculinity in politics at the moment in Australia is that the one with the biggest balls is a female. I was like, they're not wrong. She's, you know, she's got a bloody decent metaphorical set on her. I'll say that.
Yes, yes.
She doesn't mind stirring the pot, which, like, for me, I love. You know, like people calling them on their shit. Like, I just think that's great.
Yeah, and you know, it's good to have her next to me, and it's good for her to have me next to her.
Yeah.
Because we come out swinging together. But it's also even better now to have Tyron Whitten sitting behind me. He's just such a basic, decent man. He's got some similar convictions to me from Western Australia.
Yeah, okay.
And Sean Bell off to my left on my wingman sort of behind me. Just the four of them. Four of us were just basic, down to earth people, and it's so good to have these people like. And if they disagree, they say, Malcolm, do you think that's right? And if I convince them, we go. If I don't convince them, then I stop. Yeah. But Pauline's never had to try and force me to do anything, because most times I work out shit, she's got more experience and what she's saying is spot on. Yeah. And sometimes she'll say, shit, I didn't think of that. We'll do it your way. Yeah. You know, so it's just that open, which is what should happen. We should have disagreements.
Well, that's what a good leader does too. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll correct you where you need it and challenge you where you need it, but back you where you need it as well. And that's what this country needs, is a fucking leader, not a puppet.
Well, to be a good leader, you got to be a good follower.
True.
Because you got to listen, and you got to know what people want and what they need, and know the difference between a need and a want, and then meet their needs. Yeah. And sometimes it means saying I'm sorry. Sometimes it means I'm saying I'm wrong. I don't know. Can you help me, please? Yeah. These leaders who pretend to know everything, not with two knobs that go to.
No, and you can tell when they pretend to know everything, because half the conversation half of the vocabulary is things like ums and ahs and dramatic pauses and all the other rubbish that they seem to play with.
My first press conference, I got elected, the last one in 2016. James Ashby came. He's good. He's really good. Yeah. He came down and said, right, mate, let's go up to the park and we'll have a media conference. He got all the media in. We had about 15 microphones in front of us, my wife and myself and one of our kids. Yeah. And they're all in a big U shape around me. Must have been 15, 20 of them. Yeah. And one guy off to the side. And they said, you know, all the nice questions, buttering up, like, what's your hobbies? How many kids you got? What do you like doing? Blah, blah, blah. And this turkey, when everything was nice and calm, he asked a question, and the words were just fine. But the tone was like, you're that fuckwit that thinks. So he asked the question, basically, he said, you're that fuckwit that thinks climate change is fraud from the UN. Yeah. And he expected me to go, oh, no, that's not what I meant, because that's what happens to a lot of politicians. Yeah. I just looked at him and said, yeah, that's right. Next question, please. And he was fucked. Yeah, he didn't know what to do. Yeah. But you got to stand up to the media. Yes. And call them on it. And that's what Pauline's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love it. Very good.
Keep going.
Thank you. And you too. You guys are doing well. I'm just a bloke sitting here who loves chats, loves the ability to put an unfiltered message out there for people to hear.
Well, mate, independent media, you're essential, absolutely essential. Stand up, speak up, and keep going.
Very good. Well, thank you again for your time. I'll let you go. I know you're a busy man, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to have a chat again at some other point.
Yes, look forward to it.
Really, thanks.
Keep going.
Bye, everybody.